Tour is brought to you by Volvo.
Final round of the Volvo German Open, the final chance to clinch a place in Europe's Ryder Cup side. Welcome to Golf Club Schloss, Nippenberg, new course, new venue for the Volvo Tour. Co-designed by Bernhard Langer, 6,705 yards, par 71, 20 miles from the city of Stuttgart. 77 players through to the weekend, the count at 2 under, the lowest of the year. And you can see Sam Torrance takes a one-shot lead into the final round ahead of the Australian Paul Maloney. Colin Montgomerie, the defending champion, just 2 shots behind, and youngsters Pedro Linhart and Stuart Cage also in with a chance. Conditions pretty windy as they have been all weekend. As far as the Ryder Cup goes, well, at the end of a week when much might have happened, it looks as though nothing will. More on that in a moment. As we pick up the action, it's Stuart Cage, a 22-year-old from Leeds in Yorkshire, who has a one-shot lead over Sam Torrance. Sam Torrance with a bogey at the second, but an eagle at the par 5 fourth. Coming to the ninth, just one behind. Jay Townsend, the American, going well on the backside of the course. Colin Montgomerie still in with a chance, just 2 shots away. Still struggling to make the putt, still hitting it very close from tee to green. Mark James safeguarding his place in the European Ryder Cup side. No problems for James. Likewise, David Guilford. This is Sam Torrance on the ninth. Difficult par 4, not particularly long, at 396 yards, but water down the left and bunkers up the right. It's played havoc with 1 or 2 cards during the course of the week. That'll be yesterday, Paul Way, a triple bogey 7 when he was going well. Now Sam's in the sand, that's around about 240, 250. He was in that bunker in the first round and managed to get onto the putting surface and get down, so all is not lost. And there's Ian Woosnam, who had a 66 yesterday. And remember, he had to finish in the top 5 to force his way into the top 10 of the Ryder Cup. And you can see at 8 under, he ain't going to do it. He's 1 over for the day. And that's, I guess, good news for Howard Clark, Per-Erik Johansson, and Philip Walton. Clark missed the cut, but was always fairly safe. Would have taken exceptional circumstances for the Yorkshireman to miss out. Johansson was vulnerable. Philip Walton only had to finish 65th or better to go from 10th to 9th in the table, but I can tell you that Walton's had a disastrous 77. Back 9 of 42 just went to pieces, really. And he hasn't got above Per-Erik, who will finish 9th. Walton will finish 10th in the table, barring divine intervention on behalf of Woosnam, you feel. And Joaquin Hageman, who played in the Cup 2 years ago, had a horrid season, but finding a little bit of form this week in Germany. Just bringing you up to date on the Ryder Cup, and then we can get it out of the way and concentrate on this tournament, can't we? Jesper Parnevik needed to come first or second. He's in with a 69, 7 under, so he hasn't made it. Barry Lane needed top 3, 69, he's 7 under, so he hasn't made it either. Darren Clark towards the end of his round, but he started at 6 under, so he's not going to make it. And the other one was Jose Rivero, in with a 73, so way down the field. So the champagne can be opened from Johansson and from Walton. They are both debutants in the competition, will be winning their first caps. We know already, Bernard Gallagher's told us that Nick Faldo will be one of the wild card picks. Ian Woosnam will have to rely on being the other, although I have to say, if Jose Maria Olazabal declares himself fit, and I think the Spaniard almost certainly will get the nod. Another shot goes for Woosnam, but it's ironic that he's rediscovered some semblance of a putting stroke this weekend, but too little too late, sadly. Tough to leave out a man who's got so much experience and who got 4.5 out of 5 points, was your top scorer at the Belfry 2 years ago. Colin Montgomerie for a birdie at the 9th. Defending champion. been the story of his round. His approach shots have been superb all week long.
When's it going to end? When am I going to hold a putt?
Oh, exactly. Now Sam Torrance, quite a long way back. He was a lot further forward on Thursday when he was in this same bunker, nearer the front. Wind off the right, and I think the wind's got that. It's going left. Oh, and the leader's in trouble. In the water for two. He was the leader. Of course, Stuart Cage is leading at the moment. The young Yorkshireman who lost in a three-way playoff to Sam Torrance in the Irish Open. Maybe it could be his afternoon. Eggman currently 114th from the Volvo Order of Merit. Not much has gone right for him this season, but it is starting to happen now.
I'll just wait without it, okay.
Paul Maloney from Melbourne, standing up well to the pressure. Started the day at 13 under, level par.
You're up there.
Top 10 finish last week in Meliansky Lasny. Obviously taking confidence from that. Here's Nick Fast. Now he's going well. Par 4 11th, second shot. And he's 1 under for the day. Wind across from left to right, but at 430 yards. One which you probably take your par if you have to, and this hole 14 and 16, I think, key holes on this back nine. If you can make your par at all three of those, there are birdie chances at other holes. Now here's Montgomerie, won in Huberath last year. It was the last time he won. If I'm not mistaken, that's the same sweater that he wore 12 months ago. Wasn't aware that Monty was superstitious, but no, he's a very fine golfer. And that's a rare miscalculation over the green, a little bit right. And Fast maybe fooled at this 11th and coming up short. Like all the Swedes, aggressive putter. And birdies at the first, third and fourth. Dropped a shot at 6, picked it up at 7. And also had a shot, a birdie at 10. You see Sam Torrance in the water hazard, just deciding where he's got to drop, adjacent to the point where it crossed the line, the hazard. That's not the water line, it's the line that you can actually see between the two red post lateral hazard. So he can drop within 2 club lengths. Just staying outside the hazard. Sam currently top of the Volvo Order of Merit. Important for him that he stays there. If he's here at the end of the week, perhaps a place in the World Match Play at Wentworth in the autumn on offer. Of course, Colin Montgomerie, who's been there #1 for the last 2 years, will know that if he wins, he goes back to the top of the pile. Hasn't got the bounce forward. Now Fasta said he was 1 under for the day. He's in fact 4 under for the day, isn't he? Needs this putt to stay that way. We've had good rounds so far. 67 from John Bickerton early in the day, 68 from Farry, Mackenzie, Carici and Vestermark. 67 Peter O'Malley and Matt Slanner. And a 66 from Andrew Murray. That's good to see. Jarred his knee yesterday, had a lot of treatment in the Gatorade bus and obviously done the trick. And beware the injured golfer, one of his better rounds of the year. 66 for Andrew Murray. good saving putt for Fast. Remains well in contention at 14 under. So had a 66 Miguel Angel Martin. Bernhard Langer on his birthday, 70. And here's the American-born Pedro Lindhart, born of American parents. Chris and Paul. Now Pedro, proud man of the Canary Islands, won on the Challenge Tour in the Canaries earlier this year. Now, it's not very often that Colin Montgomerie misses a green. There's nothing shabby about his bunker play, is there? He's got a touch firm, but so close to dropping. Sam for a bogey on the 9th, and that's a double bogey. Hammer blow for Sam Torrance's hopes of his 3rd win of the year. Well, he's made a putt at last. He was saying when it's funny how they seem to make them more for saving par than for birdie. Whether it's a frame of mind, I don't know. And one thing I do know that from tee to green, Colin Montgomerie is playing the best golf in the world at the moment, and his rivals must be pretty glad that he's not making every putt, because they'd be playing for 2nd place every week. This is Jay Townsend getting lots of spin out of the bunker. Going well. Maloney for birdie. Oh, that helps. Out in 1 under par, out in 35. It's 36 out, 35 back, and a 3-shot swing against his playing partner Sam Torrance, who he now leads by 1. Now Stuart Gage. He's been playing this game less than 10 years. Second into 11. It's a very undulating course. The wind slightly helping, and the players fall. No one so far has really been close up to the pin. They've all left it at the front of the green. Townsend 6 under for the day. Now he's 5 under. Playing with Paul Affleck, who was the 1st round leader after a 64. There's a story of Stuart Cage's round, and a birdie 3 at the 9th. The 3rd birdie in a row. Brilliant first 9. That's why he's in the lead now. If he can just keep his nerve, his 1st win could be on the way, because Nick Fast hasn't really been in this company before. Colin Montgomerie still has to be the danger. Paul Maloney going well with his birdie at 9, and Jay Townsend perhaps running out of holes. The view of the 12th Volvo car on offer for a hole-in-one. 182 yards, elevated tee, and down across the water, and the pin you can see cut on the right-hand side, fairly close to the water as well. It's a brave golfer who really goes for the hole-in-one. Maybe left-hand side is the percentage shot. I think he may have gone for the green, and oh, he's got there. But some anxious moments on the way. Yeah. Stuart Cage playing with Gordon Brown Jr., for whom not much is happening. Sven Struve, if he'd won this week, he might have had a chance, I think, of getting up into that Ryder Cup top 10. News on Olafable was that going into the final round of the NEC World Series, which he was defending champion, he was tied second, 2 shots behind the leader Vijay Singh. Of course, a couple of weeks ago he said, well, if he picked me as a wild card, I don't think I'll be fit enough to play. That may have changed. And Bernard Gallagher's probably watching this back in Balata Valley in Wentworth. I'm sure there have been transatlantic phone calls because of the Tharball in Colorado last week, top 10, and again a good performance this week in Ohio. I'm sure if he wants to play, I can't see how he won't get the pick. Struve at the downwind par 5-13 for an eagle. Could transform his day. Start of the day at 9 under, so he's 2 over. Going to get one of those back. And the par 3 17th, Jay Townsend. Be the one, he said. Well, again, it's a tricky pin placing. See, close to the back, and the bowl player who goes over the pin might just find himself with a very awkward chip back. Here's the leader. No thoughts at the moment of defending that lead, although that's quite a slick putt. I saw Nick Fast just a moment or two ago do pretty much the same and slide 5 or 6 feet past. Head at 13, Ian Woosnam for a birdie. Answered the call from his captain to come out and play this week. The odds were always against him, really. Still, the Ryder Cup being played at Oak Hill. Curtis Strange gets an American wildcard pick because he won the US Open there in '89. The man who was second, you're looking at him. Only a pretty confident character. Pin high, just pushed by the wind a little bit, just off pin high on the right hand side. Stuart Case then to maintain his 2-shot advantage. First bogey of the day for the youngster. And here, Golf Club Schnoss. There's still all to play for. Sam Torrance slipping back. Double bogey at the 9th. Now 1 over for today's round. He was the leader by 1 going into today. But the leader, Stuart Case, has just dropped his first shot of the day. Is Nicholas Fast with birdie chance at 12, a brave tee shot that had him a little worried while it was in the air. But, all's well that landed well. And this to tie the lead. Unusual for a Swede, a touch timid. Interesting to see that Philip Walton, who took 42 on this back 9 for a 77, was talking about the pressure he'd been under for the last 5 weeks to make the Ryder Cup side, which he has now just done in the 10th and final automatic place. Now talking of pulling out the Canon European Masters next week at Crans-Montana, though he said his wife loves the place and can understand why. And there's a Maloney for birdie at 10. And now he's talking about maybe taking a holiday and maybe going over to New York State and playing Oak Hill for a little bit of preparation. I'm sure the weight lifted and he'll get back to the kind of form that brought him the Catalonian and English Open titles. Sam Torrance from the back of the 10th. Beautiful touch. Let's take a look at the 11th. 430 yards. The wind off the left-hand side. Drive to the end of that fairway if you can. Leaves yourself not too long an iron in. Water away on the right, the bunker as well, on the pin cut. Sort of back right. A lot of players thinking the wind might be a little bit stronger than it is. Giving the balls on the front of the green. Here's Colin Montgomerie's second shot. This is the best iron player in the world. Oh, doesn't leave it short, and he's going to be on our side in Oak Hill. Sam Torrance is going to be on our side as well, and here he is for par. The 10th, well done, playing the, I think the best golf that he's played for many a year. Just hope that he's 100% fit for all 3 days. Severiano Ballesteros back in action next week at Montana, and had it confirmed today as well. Greg Norman and Corey Pavin will be teeing it up, and you can see coverage of rounds 2, 3 and 4 of the Canon European Masters on Eurosport. Pedro Linhart, you can see just 2 shots off the pace. It's still very tight at the top. I mean, Joachim Hagemann has a chance if he could finish birdie, birdie, birdie. Been around a while, Pedro, on the professional golf scene. He's 32, played a lot in America on the various mini tours out there, with some measure of success as well. Currently 89th of Volvo Order of Merit. He finished tied 5th in Austria a couple of weeks ago, but if he maintains this kind of form, he has a chance of picking up his biggest ever cheque. £650,000 the kitty this week. And like, well, Nick Fast, like Stuart Cage, leaving it short with the second, and the first putt rolling past. Now, Fast made his, Cage didn't. And all the while you can just see the ball marker of Colin Montgomerie. Superb second shot. Not an easy putt, obviously. Still 1 under for the day. 12, Stuart Cage with Gordon Brown Jr. And Brown Jr. just off the green. He's converted to the broom handle putter, the long putter, this week, along with TJ Russell. And of course, Ian Woosnam toyed with it at one stage in his second round. Rounds of 67, 66 and 69. Gordon Brown Jr. at 11 under at the start of play, after what's been a pretty lean season for him. Well, surely, well, if Monty misses this one, look out, pond. No danger, at the very least, but the second shot deserved, and Monty's in a tie of the lead and looking very strong. If he'd made half of those putts, he had a 64 in the second round and didn't hold anything longer than 6 feet. not a putt you could be that aggressive on. It almost tickled it down into the hole. It will be a reassuring part after dropping a shot at the previous hole. And well, he looks to be enjoying himself. That's good as well. He's a quietly confident young man without being in any way flash. Was it Mark James, again one of these long handle putters, and they have won 7 tournaments this year. Morocco in Mark's case, Sam Torrance, Italy and Ireland, Wayne Riley in Scotland, Philip Walton in Catalonia, and of course the Forest of Arden. Take a bit of getting used to, I fancy. So Gordon Brown Jr. 1 over for the day. There's the course record holder Gary Orr, 63 in the second round. New venue for the tour. The par 5 13. I think that may have been an eagle. Let's put him right back into the picture. So plenty of Scots on the leaderboard, but it's the Englishman Stuart Cage alongside the Scotsman Colin Montgomerie who lead at the moment. Nick Fast going well at 14 under with Paul Maloney, the Australian. Good round from Jay Townsend. There you are, Gary Orr back up into the top 5 with fellow countryman Sam Torrance. Good day also for Joachim Hageman and Pedro Linhart holding up well under the pressure. We'll be back with more golf from Nippenberg, the final round of the Volvo German Open. You're watching it on Eurosport. See you in a minute. This is Jay Townsend, the American, at the closing hole. Would have helped if he got that. It's going to be a 66. It was for a 65. And he's going to finish leader in the clubhouse at 13 under. And that may well be good enough for a top 10 finish, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to win. Even so, good start, 3 birdies in the first 4 holes. And after an eagle at 13, will be slightly disappointed to actually slip back a shot over the remainder. There's a situation, top of the leaderboard. Cage and Montgomerie sharing the lead. Final match on the 12th, final chance to win that Volvo. We have to swim out and collect it, mind you. Actually, it was in the middle of the lake, right on the line to the pin, and I wondered you'd actually get in bouncing off the roof at one stage, so they've moved it out of the firing line. It's a tough pin placing today. Looks like about a time for Maloney. Wind off the left-hand side, that's right over the pin. Brave shot. Nine-year-old university graduate, was a top-class sports all-rounder as a youngster. Chose golf. There we are at the 13th. This really is a birdie chance, very reachable in 2, and Fast has this to make it a 3-way tie at the top. Oh. They do like to celebrate. But there we are. You can't keep the Swedes out of the action these days. 3-way tie at the top, Paul Maloney with a birdie putt to come perhaps at 12. And here's Gary Orr at 14. Well, if that's true, he's hit a wonderful second shot. Former Rookie of the Year, 14 under. And picking up 3 shots in 2 holes. Now this is the 13th, Stuart Cage. It's downwind, but it's a difficult pin placing. You can just see it above that bunker just to the left of the top of Stuart's head. Difficult to get it really close. You can see he's starting up the right-hand side and trying to draw it round and run it up the green. Well, he could have done with a touch more turn, but you then run the risk of overdoing it and going into the bunker. And all in all, in the circumstances, that's a pretty good shot. Tussled with Sam Torrance at Mount Juliet, lost out at the first hole in the extra sudden death playoff at Mount Juliet. Torrance going on to beat Howard Clark at the next hole. And again, that's a superb shot. And maybe Leicester players would have let the head go down with a double bogey at 9, but Sam Torrance fighting back well. Take a look at 14, which is downwind. That makes it a little bit easier. You can either hit an iron to the top of the plateau here, leaves you about a 6 or a 7 iron in, or if you get the driver out and you're feeling good, it's a narrow area, but everything runs into the middle of the fairway, and down the hill will go, and you'll just have sand wedge, lob wedge, whatever you carry into the green. Fast, who's made 3 pars here so far this week, has decided the sensible move for him is to take an iron and just leave it up at the top of the hill with a clear view of the green. Well, having taken an iron, he's hit it left. It just depends how it lies. Wasn't in the script. Now, maybe Fast feeling the pressure. No obvious signs that Paul Maloney is. But of course it's back 9 Sunday afternoon, and that's when it really does start to count. Best finish this year, share a 3rd in the DHL Jersey Open. Top 20 at the French, and so last week tied 17th with 4 steady rounds to finish 7th under par. This is his 2nd year on the Volvo Tour. Doesn't seem to get fazed by much. We saw Stuart Cage with pretty well the identical putt. Again, it's not one that you can charge. Good second shot from Cage, but he's still a long way from the pin. He's got this for eagle, but I'm sure he'd be delighted to get close enough to have just a tap in for birdie.
Come on.
You see, that's the problem. Quite a swing and uphill as well. And Montgomerie having made a par at the 12th. 13, not the place you want to be left now. He's got himself the toughest shot possible left over the bunker, out of the rough. No way that he can stop it by the pin, you would imagine, even a pure striker of the ball as Monty Brown Jr. trying to force his way back into contention. Frustrating day for Gordon Brown Jr. Sam Torrance is back in this tournament. You just can't ride him off. This is for the lead. All the time gathering experience, would have learned from the happenings at Mount Juliet. Put his second shot at the first hole, the 18th, first extra hole into the water. Should be a tougher competitor, and he is. Stuart Cage with a birdie at 13. And Colin Montgomerie not best placed with his tee shot. It's Cage who leads by 1. Stuart Cage first, Nick Fast in second place with Colin Montgomerie. Gary Orr did make birdie at 14. He's going well with Paul Maloney. Sam Torrance back in the picture as well with his birdie at 12. Good round of 66 from Jay Townsend. And good day continues for Yockinghaven. But it's Stuart Cage who leads the Volvo German Open. Welcome back to Eurosport's coverage of the final round of the Volvo German Open. We are at 13. Pedro Linhart, middle of the fairway, and still a tough shot at this par 5, but Colin Montgomerie, who misses fewer fairways than just about anybody else, has missed this one to the left-hand side, and he's got a problem or two. Stuart Cage, leader by 1 after birdieing this same hole just before the break. Well, he did, and up he goes. That's the bailout shot. That's the sensible straight shot. You take the bunker pretty well out of play, but what you're left with, of course, is a huge putt.
It just depends, isn't it? It's the flight, you see, it's the flight.
And you see in the background, Colin, it's the fleet.
You can't see a force stopping.
No, I don't think it will, Colin.
Much better off the back, as you say.
Yeah, see, he's works very well with Alistair McLean, his caddy, very much a team. In fact, there was a radio program about the way they work together recently. And
Go on, the guy with his jeans on, like you said.
Colin Montgomerie has great trust in Alistair's view. So he's long enough that he's got a long iron in his hand, but it's getting over that bunker and stopping the ball. I think he would be best to aim a little bit to the right, perhaps. Play the percentage. He's short. May have caught that a fraction heavy, and I think he may be down in that bunker. Couldn't have come out as cleanly as he would have hurt. It didn't look to be lying that well. So, chance perhaps for Stuart Cage. Here is at 14. Like Nick Fast taking the iron. Just playing to the top of the plateau. And that's okay. Well, he must just be starting to feel a few butterflies now. It's Fast with his second shot. It was an iron for safety. This was obviously recorded before the tee shot of Cage. And he's played it pretty well. Excellent shot. I wouldn't mind the franchise for the long handle putters and the sunglasses out here on tour. It's the way 14's played. There have been 50 birdies, but you can see a lot more bogeys. And this, with 16, the 2 key holes on the way home. If you can walk off here with a 4, then you've got to be satisfied. Anything better, and you've got a chance of perhaps winning the tournament. Gary Orr walked off 14 with a birdie, and he's just 2 shots off the pace. But here he is at 15, one of the easier holes, only 344 yards. But he's struggling to save his part. Almost certain he's going to get £3,000 from Johnny Walker for a new course record and a Rolex watch. But that's a splendid second round 63. Back to 13 under. Darren Clark in with a 68. He's finished 9 under, so you can see Clark, who needed a top 3 finish, isn't going to make it. Just to confirm that the top 10 that we had in Ryder Cup points at the start of the week is how we finish it. There's been a little bit of a change. I think Mark James will perhaps go ahead of Howard Clark, but they won't care where they finish as long as they're on the plane. Fast for birdie. 14. Now if he's got the pace, just a little bit more pace and it would have held the line. Other scores in: Adam Hunter a 73, Mark Litton at a 70, 7 under. That may just be good enough for the Welshman to keep his calm for next year. Oh, look at that bounding down there, but again, like Colin Montgomerie, Sam Torres has gone to the left, and he might almost have preferred to be in the sand. Won't be able to get the club head cleanly behind the ball here. Awkward stance. Awkward bounce. And he's still fighting to make his par now. You see, with just a fraction out of that second shot, another yard or two, and would have been very good. And Maloney to the right, that sat down very quickly, and it may make it out of range in 2 for the Australian. Adam Hunter in with a 73, Frederick Lindgren likewise, David J. Russell a 72, Paul Way a 72, Heinz Peter Tool a 70, Mike McLean, who we saw on the first day, if you're with us on late Thursday night, had a 66, he's finished with a 70. Eduardo Romero, defending next week, a 67. And he finishes at 10 under, 3 rounds of 69, and a 67 that included an eagle 2 at one of the early holes. Thomas Levey a 70. Darren Clark at a 68. Eamon Darcy a 70. And David Guilford a 70 to finish at 8 under. Long putt for Lynn Hartland. About the same length as Stuart Cage had. Just bringing you up to date with the scores. Ronan Rafferty, whose form of the last couple of weeks has been excellent, finishing at 8 under after a 70. Fabrice Tarnoux playing with Rafferty, 75. 75 also for Stephen Richardson. Oyvind Rojan a 70. Jay Townsend we saw a 66. And Paul Affleck's first round leaders finished with a 72 today. See how deeply down here, and he just maybe a little bit of tension in. He said he's pulled it. And down he goes, and he's got his work cut out now to save par. It's an undulating course, 1 or 2 high points where the wind really does whistle through, a bit of rain in the air as well. Fast at this 15th hole, into the wind. Not long, at 344 yards. Coming away. Thinks he's got a chance of holding this. Wasn't far wrong, was it? Okay, so doesn't matter what club he has in hand. It seems if he's trying to hold it, something goes wrong. Must be increasingly frustrating. And a good birdie for Lynn Hart. Bounces right back. Good test of temperament, and he's standing up to it well, but if Colin Montgomerie had half the breaks that he should have had, he probably could have declared by now. Not a good time to be pointing a camera at it. Frustrating, I know, but the problem was with the drive, really, that always made it difficult, but it feels like a shot dropped. Here's Sven Struve. Headed 16, looking for a 3. Day hasn't got much better for Ian Woosnam. Sort of birds and eagles that he might have needed haven't materialised. Oh, that's bounced pretty hard, and that's exactly what he needed, actually. Could have sat down quite easily, but pin high, good shape. And Sam Torrance playing the shot that I'm sure Colin Montgomerie would want to have played a little bit further to the right. Ian Woosnam setting for the orthodox putter. He put an extra couple of inches at the top of the grip, and only had 24 putts in his third round 66. That was chipping and putting, though. You see, that's a better putting stroke, and if he'd had that in Sweden, I'll tell you, he'd have been awfully close to Jesper Parnevik. See Cage tugging his second left at 14. Didn't look a very good lie, did it? Graduate of the Challenge Tour. They've been playing at East Sussex National and the Coca-Cola Open. That finished yesterday. I'll bring the result for you. Let's have a look if Stuart Cage can save his par, though. He finished in the top 10 Challenge Tour last year, and that's how he got his card for the Volvo Tour.
Go on.
The body language from the caddy tells the story. A bogey for Cage. A win at East Sussex for Thomas Bjorn of Denmark. He won by 1 from Fredrik Jakobsen of Sweden. Diego Borrego in 3rd place. Magnus Persson of Sweden in 4th place. Does mean that the Dane Thomas Bjorn is well clear at the top of the order of merit. We'll be seeing him on next year's Volvo Tour. It'll be a welcome addition. Meanwhile, on the tour this time round, 20 miles from Stuttgart, with a 3-way tie at the top. Nick Fast, Stuart Cage, despite the bogey at 14, and Colin Montgomerie, despite only a par at 13. They lead by 1 from Paul Maloney and Sam Torrance. It really is looking very tight at the top. For the playoff, it will be holes 18, 10 and 11. Don't bet against it. Welcome back. Here's Sam Torrance, the 3rd round leader. Now just 1 shot behind, and with a putt which could leapfrog him back into the lead. 3-way tie at the top. Fast, Cage and Montgomerie. And Torrance playing with Paul Maloney in the final match of the day. Long handle putter, not quite so effective from this range. It's really from 10 feet in that it's revived so many careers, notably Sam's. Indeed, there was one of the American seniors, I think Rocky Thompson, I think his name was, that, I don't know if he still does, but he used to carry 2 putters in the bag, and a conventional putter for the long putts, and then from 10 feet in, out with a long handle. Co-leader. Goes down, then up, and then swings a little bit in from the left-hand side. But he's well wrapped up against the wind. Now looking down from the top of 14, here's Colin Montgomerie.
Turn down.
Well, it's 2 rather average irons in a row for Monty. Don't see many of them. I don't normally see one. Must have been after his first round, 69, wondered if he was going to take it a little bit easy this week, but that's not in his nature. He doesn't turn up unless he thinks he's going to win or can win.
Come on.
It was Maloney from the back of 13. 2 good shots right over the pin. About Thomas Bjorn before the break. In Denmark, the Ford Stimmerol Danish Open on the Women's American Express Tour, and that's been won by Caroline Hall of England by some distance. 8 shots from Karine Dibnat of Australia. Good positive putt from Flask. And Meti Hegman and Raquel Correado Tomas of Spain sharing third place with equal fifth Dale Reed and Aidan Rogers. So well done to Caroline Hall, winner on the American Express Women's Tour. They're going to be at the Oxfordshire for the English Open, the Wilkinson English Open, from this Thursday. The Oxfordshire, wonderful course, and well worth going along to see the girls play.
Jump day up. Jump, come on.
So, Ian Woosnam again with a long putt, getting reasonably close. This is 16 again. .469 yards. Into the wind, and 2 good shots required. A lot of players hitting fairway woods for their second. Gary Hall playing his 4th shot, so he's obviously found trouble off the tee. And may escape with a 5. Could have done without the spin. I think that may have been Stuart Cage's 3rd shot. In fact, it will be his 2nd to 15, I think. It's wonderful every week, just studying the mannerisms. He's been relaxed all the way through, but then the nervous tug at the hair. And if you say you're not nervous, you're a liar. So disaster for Gary Orr, and his chances of winning this tournament disappeared over the last 2 holes. Lindhart not out of it by any means. It can be a lonely game at this stage on a Sunday afternoon as well. No one really can help you. You're out there on your own. Right, Smile, that's well, at least he got it past the hole, but that's been about that length and maybe a wee bit longer, maybe a wee bit shorter as well, being the root of all of Ian Woosnam's problems. Colin Montgomerie, remember, away with second. And this is not for birdie, this is to save his par. And there goes another one. There's nothing much wrong with the strike. It looks good. He always looks as if he's going to hold them, and somehow they're just staying. It's almost as if there's a goalkeeper in there. The hole's beginning to run out. He should really be in control of this tournament, but he may need to rely on what others do as well. Nicely done. Par saved. So Linhart will be unlikely to win this tournament unless he really gets on a birdie run now, but it's certainly certainly a good week. Stuart Cage. 15. Oh, it's unlucky. I think he hit that exactly where he meant to, and pretty well the pace he did. It just didn't turn. Missed it on the high side, which because he wants to hold it. But if he misses on the high side, that's a more positive putt. Most of us club players, if we're not putting well, we miss on the low side, don't we? And that wasn't a bad effort. Maloney would have gone with the line off the tee, and he's short with his second. So that's the problem. You either get an even stance at the top of the hill, or you run the risk of having a very awkward stance if you come over the top and run down the hill. It's a chance that Sam Torrance taken, and downhill out of the semi-rough. It's not cameras, it's radios, I suppose. Celebrated his 42nd birthday during Thursday's first round. 20 tour wins, including 2 this year. A little bit fortunate not to run away to the left. Missed it on the left side, but he's pin high, can have a fairly level chip. But he's going to need to get down in 2 to stay as one of our 3 leaders. Nick Fast and Stuart Cage, 2 young men holding up well. And then behind them, the experience of Sam Torrance and the defending champion Colin Montgomerie. Really is looking very close here at Golf Club Schloss Nippenberg. Join us again after the break. Third shot of one of our 3 leaders, Sam Torrance at the 14th. Nick Fast and Stuart Cage also 15 under. Colin Montgomerie and Paul Maloney just 1 shot behind. Just a little firm. Montgomerie at the 15th. Yard birdage from Alistair McLean. It's Callaway irons that he's been using all year long. Oh, and too much spin. That was tough. Just on the ridge, another yard, and I think he might have just got a little bit closer, but he hit on the upslope. And that encouraged the spin that was already there. Needed to come in behind the pin for that kind of shot. See, it's pretty steep. Fast in trouble at 16, and that was for a par, and well, it's not a bad effort. Almost as if this 16th is almost out of range. He had a drive into a poor lie and just had to recover back out onto the fairway. Left himself a 9 iron in, perhaps should have been an 8. There's Ian Woosnam coming up the 18th. I'm sure probably glad to get this week over with. There's the story of the round. He needed 64, 65. After the 66 he found it was possible, but it started going wrong from the second hole, and despite a couple of birdies, 6 at the 9th, which is claimed so many chances, which I think it's almost playing the hardest on the course. Certainly more double bogeys there than anywhere else. Sam Torrance ends to save his par at 14. Oh, nicely done. He was up 4 feet from the hole. He knew that was going in. Good up and down, and wipe the sweat off your brow, Sam. You're still sharing the lead, but really couldn't be closer. 3 men there, and Colin Montgomerie just a shot away. Jay Townsend, leader in the clubhouse. Leaving the flag in for this one. Feel that he's owed one, that it's about time one went in.
Coming in and then, yeah, just straightened up.
Now it's a two-way tie at the top. CK's from the top of the hill, long iron into 16. Oh, wonderful shot. Wonderful shot. Well, he's not showing too many nerves. Now, Pedro Lindhart could have done with the spin that Colin Montgomerie had, and if he got it, it'd be very close, but now he's got quite a slick downhill putt. Joachim Hagman in the clubhouse with a round of 67. Go on. Oh. How did that not go in? I think Colin Montgomerie can certainly empathise with Lindhart. Two off the pace still.
On that left edge, yeah? Yeah. 8? Yep. You reckon?
Yes. There's Sven Struber with his third at 18, the par 5. Didn't get the kick off the bounce, which would have got him onto the putting surface in 2. Par save by Colin Montgomerie. 3 holes to go. Last outing at the Riviera Club, he birdied the last 3 to force a playoff in the US PGA. Got the best stroke average on the tour. But he needs a bit of magic, needs the putter to get going now. Here's the 17th, the pin right at the back. 175 yards, so maybe a 4 iron, maybe a 3. Well, maybe a little bit of inexperience showing it. Looked like he wanted to hit the perfect shot. Looked very good. A bit of adrenaline pumping, and with the pin cut so close to the back, maybe course management, you come up a little bit short, leave yourself an uphill putt. He's got a very awkward chip left. Sven Struve then for birdie at 18. Andrew Alcorn, by the way, had around a 69. There was a 68 for Jose Caceres, 73 for Roger Vessels, a 69 for Des Smith, and Mark James finished with a 67. Struve is going to finish with a 73. All the problems perhaps he was pressing at the turn. 3 bogeys, 4 bogeys in 5 holes, and in Woosnam. Nice if he could finish by making one, but it would be out of keeping with the week. 74 for Ian Woosnam. And at the press conference, 12 o'clock, high noon at PGA Tour headquarters in Wentworth, when Bernard Gallagher announces his 2 wildcard picks. Woozy will know his fate, but I think he fears the worst. The story of the round, and just didn't happen. Just a wedge. Just a wedge, and pretty good 15 feet from the pin. It was a fine second shot from Cage. The putt was always a little bit slippery. Quite a big break on it. A par will do. I feel there's a birdie chance perhaps to come at 18. So he needed a little bit more as well, down onto the lower tier. It was a round of Bernhard Langer celebrating his 38th birthday today, co-designer of the course, and he's learned a lot from this week. He said he's going to change 1 or 2 of the landing areas. He thought the pin placings were a little bit too easy. I'm not sure about that, but he's been out there and he should know. And it was a little bit accessible for some of the lesser players perhaps. But Langer, hopefully over his back problems, been having plenty of treatment. And of course in our Ryder Cup side, and looks like at least 5 of our big 6 will make it through. Here's the situation though, out on the course. Cage and Torrance tied at the top now. And Fast and Montgomerie just a shot behind. Here is Montgomerie. Second shot is 16. Well, I think one more marvellous iron shot. Is he going to finish with 3 birdies again? If he does, he's every chance of breaking that duck. It's lasted since this week last year. If he wins, they go to the top of the order. But Sam Torrance may have a word or two to say about that. Sam Torrance to 16 under and into the lead. Pedro Lindhart to save his par. Well done as well. Still in line for a big check. But he's now 3 shots behind his playing partner. Okay, it's 17.
Get in. Go on.
Oh, that's well played. Incidentally, Nick Fast, we didn't see him, but he did get down in 2. Made his par. There's a 17th downhill, like so many of the par 3s on this course, 175 yards. With the pin today cut at the back. Into wind. The percentage shot surely has to be just short of the flag. Although Fast did very well to get up and down from behind. Meanwhile, at 16, the 3rd shot of Pedro Lindhart. Lovely touch. And Colin Montgomerie's only had 7 wins. I say only 7. A lot of people would be happy with that, but I was thinking how many times in his relatively short career he's been second. It's more than most. He's got this part and needs this one. Well, Sam Torrance could be getting away. He's never won a playoff and he's lost 2 already this year. He may have to put the record straight. And this is the time when you look for that extra gear, that extra touch of class. He got it with the iron shot. Too hard with the putt. If it had been there with the putt, it would have been all over, probably by the turn. So is he going to be denied again? Second in the Murphy's English Open, the Scandinavian Masters. Not much he could do about that because Parnevik played superbly. Second to Freddie Couples at the start of the season down in Dubai. Fast after his par at 17. Well, if he can make a birdie here, and he's certainly got a good long drive away, he really could set a tough target for everybody else, including Colin Montgomerie. He was 3rd in the Scottish, set a course record at Carnoustie, tied 4th in the Irish tournament. He should have won. Oh, Stuart Cage, that would have been for a 2. What a blow that would have been. He's had a couple of chances. He too, if he can make birdie up 18, who knows? There's Gary Orr on the 18th green, tapping in for a round of 71. Started so well with an eagle at the first. He's playing with Paul Eales, who's finished with a round of 70. Gary Orr not getting the big check that he'd hoped for, or the win that he dreamt of. He will be getting £3,000 from Johnny Walker for that second round 63 and the Rolex watch. Pat on the back for the course record holder. At the business end of the tournament, it's Sam Torrance who's back in the lead again, number 1 in the order of merit, and he aims to stay there. He leads by 1 from Stuart Cage. Colin Montgomerie wants to catch Torrance. He's got to get going. Sam Torrance leads the Volvo German Open. But Stuart Cage can put the pressure on if he makes it a birdie here, but that's gone right. Oh, there's a stream of water hazard all the way up the right, and the one tee shot that he didn't want, Stuart Cage, sadly he's collected away to the right, and that's in trouble. Playing part in the Gordon Brown Jr. hasn't made a move really today. Ooh, way to the left, and got lucky as he went into the gallery. But what would Stuart Cage give for that? Sam Torrance, third shot at 16, he hit a wild drive away to the right, and all he could do was get back onto the fairway. So the leader in a bit of trouble. The leader by 1. Putter will have to weave its magic again to keep him there. And on the 18th, Mick Fast has reached the green in 2. 2 mighty blows. It's 522 yards uphill. What do? Do you go for broke if he makes this 16 under? He's going to be tough to beat. Or do you settle for birdie and take a chance? Certainly it's been a momentous 2 weeks for young Fast. Not such a good finish for Stuart Cage though. 22-year-old from Yorkshire has found his ball. It's a lateral water hazard, so out he comes. Let's make sure that he makes it right. He's calling for a ruling. That's sensible at this stage. 23-year-old from Gothenburg. Won 25,000 last week in the Czech Republic. He tied 5th. That's his best performance on the tour. Nicholas Fast should tap in and set the target at 15 under, and who knows, maybe good enough. Certainly it would leave Pedro Lindhart needing birdie finish, and he's going to need an eagle to catch Fast at the last, but he too has every chance of his best ever check. This is second year on tour. He was tied second in the Open V33 at Lyon last year, but that was quite a small money tournament. And likewise, Paul Maloney has a chance of picking up more than he received for tied 3rd in Jersey. 3 off the pace, but Sam Torrance may be coming back to the field. Yeah, see again the nervous mannerisms. It's all very important now. Every shot, every putt. And Colin Montgomerie has won on the European Tour about £3.5 million, but needs to use a fair amount of that money if he can and rush out and buy a putt from somewhere. 5 iron at 17. This is a 30-footer. Got a chance. Oh. Well, I suspect that's what the roar was at Sam Torrance. And there he goes again. Needed a birdie, and he's just got that bit of class when it really counts. These top players just seem to be able to put it out. Oh, now it's all up for grabs again. Stuart Cage will be playing 3. Nick Fast, if he's heard the roar, a 3-footer, which will look more like 13. But he's played really well. This is for a 66. And they just keep churning them out, the Swedes. That sets the clubhouse target. Nick Fast with rounds of 68, 67, 68. And his best of the week, 66. Great finish. He sets the pace in the clubhouse. Who can catch him? And now there's a tie at the top again. Sam Torrance drops the shot. 3 birdies on the back 9, his first bogey of the homeward half, and he's tied with Fast now. And Cage, who's playing his 3rd, this has got to chase up. Oh, he's gone for broken. He's found the sand, and you see that's a good 60, 70 yards from the pin. Colin Montgomerie is without doubt the best iron player in the world. He's probably also the best at a driver off the fairway, so he will perhaps be thinking that he can make a birdie at the last. Just to confirm, this is the last time we're going to talk about it for a while, the Ryder Cup. At top 10, as they were at the start of the week, you can see that Mark James has gone above Howard Clark. Philip Walton scraped in with his 77. The nerves have ended. And don't forget that Johansson and Walton making their debuts. The rules were there for all to see. Qualification started last year at Montana. They played their way in the team. They've done it by the rules. They deserve to be there. Let's hope they relax and wish them good luck. That looks to me not a bad team. Nick Fowler already one wild card pick. Jose Maria Olafable, if he's fit, likely to be the other. And I don't see too many names in the American side that might frighten you. We may start as the underdogs, but I think Europe really do have a great chance at Oak Hill. Especially if Colin Montgomerie can maintain this form. There he is up the middle again. He can get very close to the green in 2. He needs to. He's tied for the lead. He will feel he needs a birdie here. What an important birdie at 17. Not an easy putt, and the sort that hadn't been going in all week. And suddenly he finds one in the locker room, and here's Pedro Linhart. He's had 2 birdies here so far this week. Could do with a 3rd. And also in pretty good shape. Not as long as Montgomerie by any means. He, I don't think Pedro can get up into, but he'll lay up and take his chance with a pitch in the putt. You can see how you come into the elbow. Stuart Cage, I think he was going at the driver out. He was going for it, and if he'd just scuttled through the bunker, he would have been okay. But this is an awkward 60, 65 yard length. going wrong at 18 as it did at 18 at Mount Juliet for him. That time, of course, it was the first playoff hole, as it will be this time if a playoff's required. Only birdie eagle finish. Not quite out of it yet. Five iron. Sensible shot, but he needed it. Well, he needed a bit more. He needed to be where Maloney was. Didn't nail that one. Brown Jr. with his third at 18. The rounds are 67, 66 and 69, the touring pro from East Sussex National. Exciting here, isn't it? Of course, the message hasn't got through to everyone. One or two not phased. But for the rest of us, well, just look at that. Coming to the closing couple of holes of the 1995 Volvo German Open, there's a four-way tie at the top. Now, Stuart Cage is probably going to fall out of that with a bogey at 18 unless he holds a very long putt, but still all kinds of possibilities. Mark James had a good week just to cement his Ryder Cup place. Battling week also for Paul Eales. On stage perhaps promised to be a little bit better. Eduardo Romero back to defend next week in Crans-Montana. It's a pretty good effort what he was going for it, but he didn't want to leave himself that one back. The clock tower says 5 o'clock is. Gordon Brown Jr. rather sad finish in a 72. He finishes at 10 under. Started well. Birdies at the par 5, first and fourth. Torrance. For sure he's got to get this close. He's got the length to reach 18 and 2 as well. Oh, well done. That's a 68 for Stuart Cage. Once again close and right in the action when it counted. You see that birdie hat-trick that catapulted him into the lead to return. Couldn't quite maintain that on the way home. Will be another big check for Stuart Cage, and maybe if he continues that form, a chance of catching Jarmo Sandelin in the race for Rookie of the Year. Now Pedro Linhart second at 18. Just carries that bunker. I'd have chased it on had he turned it round a little bit more. There's no doubt that Colin Montgomerie can get home. He may even have to choke down on that driver a little bit. Wind off the right. Just cutting that in. Oh, he's got the legs. Would have gone on and been a little bit closer, but you would reckon a player of Monty's class will get up and down, and if he does, it will be a round of 67, and he's set the target at 16 under, and it will leave Sam Torrance needing to make this putt and birdie the last to force a play-up, but that's all to come. The first thing for Sam is to make this one. Well, doesn't miss many of those these days. Can't remember the last one he missed. So it's a tie between the Scots. He'd rather be doing something else. No, he'd love to do this on a Sunday afternoon. It's what he exists for. Three-way tie. Nick Fast is the leader in the clubhouse. Colin Montgomerie and Sam Torrance can go past him if they make birdies, and Colin Montgomerie is in pretty good shape after 2 shots. Green side at 18, needing a chip and a putt to transfer all the pressure onto Sam Torrance. It's a long wait over for Colin Montgomerie. Well, join us again after the break and find out. Don't you dare go away. Back on the final tee, Paul Maloney playing for, well, perhaps a share of 4th for 5th place, but he's stood up pretty well to the pressure. Just to recap, Nick Fast is the leader in the clubhouse at 15 under. Sam Torrance and Colin Montgomerie need birdies at 18 to go to 16 under. Colin Montgomerie greenside in 2. Sam Torrance has the length to get up in 2 also, but he needs to nail this one. Did not spare the rod. About 270-yard run out, and he's into the second cut of rough. Just depends how it lies. A bit fluffy. Pedro Linhart, 3rd shot at 18. He too looking for a big check. Well, he's got that for a 68, and a position that he's not been in too often before. Won't have played in front of galleries this size before. It's been a pretty satisfying afternoon for Pedro Linhart. 4 rounds will be under 70. Good level of consistency. 68, 66, 68. There's the course record, the best round of the week's on Friday. Gary Orr, 63. £3,000 from Johnny Walker, Rolex gold watch. Although I suspect he's slightly disappointed the way that his challenge fell away with a couple of 71s at the weekend. Now here's Colin Montgomerie in the lucky sweater, the sweater that he wore 12 months ago when he won the German Open in Huberaf, and that was the last time that Colin Montgomerie had to make a winner's speech. He needs to get up and down to deny Nicholas Fast and leave Sam Torrance, who's not got the best of lies, back down the 18th, needing a birdie to force a playoff. Would he finish with an eagle with that? Oh, so that really would have put it out of Sam's reach. Thought for a minute he got it. That's going to be a 67 for Colin Montgomerie. I don't think he'll fancy a playoff, but maybe good enough. Who knows? He's going to mark and just let Linhart get out of the way, but this looked very good all the way. It was always going to be close. And at this stage, I thought it's got to go in, but just died as he got to the hole. Now looking very relaxed, and he's terrific performance, because it's been frustrating with his score. Well, goodness knows what it could be. He plays at Crans-Montana next week, and people say if there's ever going to be a 59 in professional golf, that's where it will be. And of course, if Colin Montgomerie hits the ball the way he's been hitting it this week and finds his putting touch, he may be the man. And if he does, we'll be there to see him. Oh, well done. 68 for Pedro Linhart. He finishes at 14 under. He can be very proud of his week's work. But is Colin Montgomerie a winner again? Surely at worst he's in a playoff. And just look at that, just the one bogey and a birdie finish when he needed it most. He had the weapons in the bag to do the job. I don't know if that's a white hat to surrender from Sam Torrance. Nice touch, because remember, Monty will go top of the order of merit if he finishes first and Sam finishes second. Coming towards the close of our coverage, I guess. Let me just remind you again, the Southern region of the PGA have got their championship from this Thursday to Saturday at Clandon Regis. Some terrific golf, free admission and free car parking, and lots more. We'll tell you about that in a moment. First, Paul Malone is second. Almost just turned it a little bit too much. You find the Clandon Regis Golf Club 3 miles east of Guildford on the A246 at West Clandon, and there's free video checks, advice from the PGA, putting competitions, long driving, and whether you're starting the game or experienced, well worth making the trip. So that's the Southern Region PGA at West Clandon at the Clandon Regis Club. Hope that goes well. Right, Sam Torrance, it's not lying that well. He's got the 3 wood out. So already he carries a 7 wood, but of course if he uses that, he wouldn't get the distance. Just a question of what's under the ball. Ball went up very quickly, he skied it. So there wasn't very much under the ball and he got underneath it. Well, the grass has been flattened. That's a difficult chip to come in. He's got about 70 yards and above the green as well. So Sam Torrance needs a pitch and a putt to force a playoff. If we have a playoff, 18, and then if required, 10 and 11. We're live on Friday afternoon with the second round of the Canon European Masters. We'll be up the mountainside with the likes of Greg Norman, Corey Pavin, Severiano Ballesteros, Colin Montgomerie, of course, Eduardo Romero, defending champion, the host of stars. Hope you can join us on Eurosport. There's Nessie Annette Hoffman just checking the card of Colin Montgomerie. I think he's dispatched Alistair out of the tent just to keep an eye on what's going on the 18th. And that's Alistair in the green. They're just reporting back. You're probably telling them that Sam hasn't made the green in 2. There's Stuart Cage just leaving the tent. That's Sam the man with it all to do. It's an awkward shot because the green sort of slopes down towards the pin, and you've got to get it over that ridge and running down. He's not going to be quite sure how it's going to fly out of the rough. It's a little bit pressed down, but can't be certain, as indeed he couldn't be certain for his second shot. So giving himself every chance, going out and pacing and taking one more look. First prize 108,330. There's David Begg, the press officer, just getting the initial reactions of Colin Montgomerie. David, who's the press officer at the Open Championship, and last week was at Woburn for the Weetabix Women's British Open. So first prize 108,330. That's about 36,000 and a few pounds more than second place, but not just the money for Sam. He wants to be top of the Volvo Order of Merit. Colin Montgomerie's been there for the last 2 years and wants to make it 3 in a row, that's for sure. But Sam, just puts in perspective, he was winning tournaments when Stuart Cage was less than 1 year old. heavy. Oh, it sat down to, it was the right line, but it sat down too quickly. And Sam Torrance, who at Mount Juliet at the 18th needed a par to win and made a bogey, but won the playoff. And who at Hilversum had Scott Hoke in the tent watching as he came down the par 5 18th, needing an eagle to force a playoff. Well, he now needs to make that putt to force Colin Montgomerie into a little bit of overtime. He's going to mark his ball so that don't forget Pedro Linhart is, sorry, Paul Maloney is still involved in a chance of big money, if not winning. See him up and down. He can tie with Stuart Cage for 4th place. It will be. There's the prize fund, £650,000. The 108,330 is going to either Colin Montgomerie or Sam Torrance. You can see big money for, well, all the way down to top 10 really. You wouldn't turn away. And different players having different targets. The money not so important to Montgomerie, of course, but it's time he won again. He knows that. It's been too long. It's been a year. His name already on the trophy last year. If Sam Torrance doesn't make this putt, it will go on for a second time. Never ever had the line, sadly, had the weight, but was always a little bit too far away, and it means that the long wait is over for Colin Montgomerie. He doesn't know it just yet. The faithful Alistair will be in a moment. Here he comes. You've won, boss. Well done, Colin Montgomerie. Mike Stewart, the tournament director, adding his congratulations, and so you think that water is tasting like champagne at the moment. Well, he's certainly playing so well. Here comes David Begg again to add a winner's postscript to the interview. Certainly best player in the world at the moment, and if he gets the putting touch going as well, well, he's going to just win and win. Meanwhile, this is Paul Maloney. Way to finish, and that gives him a round of 17. He will share 4th place with Stuart Cage and Pedro Linhart, and they will win £27,500 each. So the biggest check that Paul Maloney has ever won on the Volvo Tour. Now don't forget Sam Torrance, because it's not a formality, this putt, and if he were to miss it, he will be down into a share. Well, it will be 3rd place then for Cage, Linhart and Maloney. If he makes it, he shares 2nd with Nick Fast. Well done. That's a 70 also for Sam Torrance, and he and Nick Fast share £113,000 between them, 56,500 each. And you see Sam Torrance after that double bogey out the night, fighting back so well, but a bad tee shot at 16 perhaps proved to be his undoing, and also a slightly wayward tee shot at 18 prevented him getting up into. So the presentation party out, and Colin Montgomerie's name on the trophy once again. Been a hectic week. The Ryder Cup team or 11/12 of it now known. Wentworth, this lunchtime, we will know who the 12th member will be, the second wild card for Bernard Gallagher. Likely to be Olafable, but only Gallagher knows for sure. And I hope that you've enjoyed our coverage over the last 4 days on Eurosport of the. It's been a terrific tournament at a new venue for the Volvo Tour. Colin Montgomerie then, a winner again, not before time. Great performance, second great week for Nicholas Fast. They'll be pleased about that in Gothenburg. Sam Torrance, the old warrior, second again, but also putting up a good performance. Stuart Cage, a good week, and likewise Pedro Linhart and Paul Maloney, big checks for those three young men. And Joachim Hagemann showing a little bit of the old form again, and that's good long term for European golf. Mark James there in the Ryder Cup side. Eduardo Romero finishing with a 67. Gary Orr, the course record, a 63. Gordon Brown Jr. almost back to form, couldn't quite make it in the final round. Darren Clark needed a top 3. Brave effort, but he didn't get there. The trophy to Colin Montgomerie again. Well deserved from tee to green. He was in a different class, and when it really came to the crunch, that putt at 17, when it mattered, he made it. So Colin Montgomerie will be off to play again at Cromwell in the Canon European Masters. I'll be there as well. Hope I'll have your company on Eurosport. Till then, from me, Steve Beddoe, have a good week, and I'll see you on Friday.
The Volvo Tour was brought to you by Volvo.